this past week really, we lost someone who was an icon. For many of us here in the US, a shining light and a glimmer of hope in what kind of feels like a pretty dark and worrisome time. And someone whose loss makes it feel like a darker and more worrisome time. And of course I'm talking about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the notorious RBG. I felt, I want to say I feel sad, but I really just feel numb. And it's, I think, something I'm going to have to process for a while, and something I didn't really have a reaction or response to until kind of now. And it was actually after I'd heard about her death and kind of sat with it for a bit, I came back into this room, my art studio, and came across this, which is on my bookshelf. And this is a absolutely stunning portrait of RBG that I happily purchased from the very, very talented and my friend, Paper for the People. And I bought this actually a few weeks ago. And when I saw it, I remembered why I wanted to get it when RBG was still alive. And it reminded me of, you know, the things that not only she's accomplished, but something that learning about her life, which was only recently, I'm going to admit, I was not very aware of the legacy she's leaving behind, all the amazingness packaged up in that little bundle. I wasn't really aware of it. I knew who she was. I knew she was the Supreme Court Justice. I knew she wore awesome collars. But I didn't really know much more than that. And, you know, there's a lot to talk about with her. There's a lot to talk about in terms of her accomplishments in helping achieve and set a standard for what equality means for people of all sexes and gender identities. And, you know, you can do a Google search and read about that pretty easily. And I don't feel equipped to tell you about that. The one thing I do want to tell you about is something that she taught me. And the thing that I think has made her, even though I've only known about her history and known about her life very recently, somebody that I think I will always feel a connection to. And that is that it was more about how she did things and what her philosophy was. And it's something that's gonna continually shape me as a human and as an artist. And what that is she has a quote that I'm going to paraphrase badly, which is, she hoped and wanted to be a person who used her talents and strengths to make the changes that she wanted to see in the world. Now think about that. She wanted to use the talents and strengths that she had ingrained in her. She didn't spend her life trying to be someone she's not. She didn't spend her life chasing after these skills or these things that she felt like she needed to achieve because someone else told her to, or because the system of society deemed it. That's what you should go for. She used what she had at her disposal, which was her brilliant mind and her quiet spirit and her utmost determination to see that people were treated equally and fairly when they weren't being treated that way. And the reason why that sticks with me so much is because I feel like I've spent a lot of my life trying to do things that I felt, or do things or be a certain way that I felt was expected of me, instead of really embracing who I am and what my strengths are. A good example of that is just what I'm feeling now with the current COVID pandemic and then the fight for racial injustice that we're seeing here in our country, in the US, my country. I'm not a gifted debater. I'm not good at throwing quippy remarks, and I'm not good at changing minds on the spot. I don't know if I'm good at changing minds at all. But I do know that I make art that brings joy and touches people's lives and touches their hearts. And I started realizing that that's a way I can make change. Whether it's selling them for fundraising funds to give to charities that are fighting the cause, or to just make art that I feel like spreads a message of joy and inclusivity and love that I believe in so much. And it's a lesson I've been slowly learning, but learning about RBG and her mindset really kind of helped accelerate that journey for me. And I think that's something I just wanted to share with all of you, especially my artists and introverted souls and quieter souls who are maybe not sure how to not feel helpless or hopeless right now. And the thing I just want to tell you is that you have it in you. You got something in you that is going to help you see some change. And I just want to encourage you to dig deep, sit with it, embrace it, and maybe think a little creatively on how you can stretch yourself and stretch that skill to make the kind of change you want to see. As always, can't wait to see what you make and what you do with that. And thanks, RBG. Thanks.